Hello, hello, hello.
I don't know. They will hear it in the intro right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
you're talking right now.
That's great, John.
Hey, guys.
Good job being
Joining
a
us.
fucking halfwit, John.
It's early. It's break.
I had to pull it over to get to
So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the tight ends, and we're going to go into the
five?
top. We'll do top 5 tight ends, and then we'll do some notables after that because I think there's going to be about 14 guys drafted.
I think a lot of our guys are going to be the same for this top five.
There's going to be...
Well, right off the bat, we'll just go with the number 1 overall. Everybody's essentially consensus. Me and Steve might have a little bit of disagreement, but when you have to grade a tight end, you also going to include the blocking skills. Michael Mayer is the number 1 overall tight end probably coming out of this draft. He is a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, and I'm just going to straight up say, this is all I need to say, he's a mini Gronk. There's not much more if you've ever watched Gronkowski play. Solid pass catcher at the peak of the ball, or at the peak of his route running. Really good underneath. Very good blocker. This guy is huge. He plays way bigger than he actually is. 6'4", 265 pounds. Runs a 4.65 40. Arm length 32 and 5/8. Arm span 76 inches. Hands 10 inches. And he also has very soft hands for being a tight end. Steve, give me your number 1. And
I like Kincaid more.
Okay.
Okay, so I like Dalton Kincaid out of Utah more. It is slight. It is very, very...
1A, 1B.
It
1A,
is
1B.
1A, 1B
I think the
for me.
difference is they're
So-
both good at blocking, right? But one's better than the other.
I think Dalton Kincaid is very good at blocking too. Now, I would say, depending on what, like a GM, right, the big tell here is the difference in age. So Mayer's 21, Kincaid's 23.
That's a huge difference.
I think
when
that's
it
big.
comes to
Their
drafting.
40s are pretty similar. Kincaid ran a 4.71. Mayer ran a 4.65. Now, I don't know if they're going to run at the combine, but we'll see them
I'm
too.
sure they will.
I mean, clear. Mayer's 25 pounds heavier.
Both these guys are day 1 starters.
In my opinion, they're day 1 starters. Now, that's hard to determine in the NFL because typically it takes guys a long time. By a long time, I mean 2-3 years before they actually start producing from college to the NFL.
But if we had to tier these guys,
If I had to tier these guys are
tier 1.
These are 1 for
They're
me.
tier 1.
I have them both. They're both super talented. I have them both as top 10 talents.
He was a walk-on, too.
Who?
Kincaid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he played, so he wasn't, he played basketball more.
Yep. Yeah, he went to Utah
That's
for
actually
basketball.
one of his.
Yeah.
The negatives to him was his focus wasn't football.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was everything else.
I don't have any
Didn't
cons.
he do like skiing or something stupid like that? too?
Basketball.
Yeah, it was
There was
basketball.
another
There was
tight
something
end
else, yeah.
that did basketball, and he
Well,
didn't
all
play.
tight ends do basketball.
Well, I mean, Antonio
Me
Gates.
Graham.
A lot of them
One of
do,
the
yep.
best,
Yep.
Antonio Gates.
The
top 10
only
tight ends.
con, I have one con between the two of these guys, and that's for Kincaid, and it says he's lightweight. He's lightweight at 240. That's it.
Average size.
I don't have any cons for these guys. They are super, super good.
So the only kind of con I have for Dalton Kincaid, because he's my number 1 too, is he plays in the slot. So I feel like he plays more as a wide receiver, kind of like Kyle
plays
Pitts.
in line.
Yeah, if you bring up my
So-
overlay, go ahead, bring up my overlay. And I don't think he's anywhere near as talented as Kyle Pitts. He looks and
Ooh,
plays like a wide
I don't know
receiver,
about
great
that
ball
one.
tracking skills, good in the run blocking, small for pass blocking.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you draft him, you can put him at. I mean, you can put him at wide receiver.
Yeah.
He played in the slot. I think
A lot.
over 80% of his snaps were in the slot for Utah.
He's a wide
from what I
receiver. He's
saw.
a wide receiver 4,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
but he's a reliable guy that can go over the middle, so that's why they have him in the tight
And
end.
if you have him in the slot, he can crack down on a DN.
Yeah.
He'll smoke that dude.
So that's our 1 and 2. We got Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid. Number 3, I have is Darnell Washington.
Oh yeah.
Darnell Washington, 6'7", 270. This guy is a beast, and he runs a 4.6 40. He's the size of a guard with the athleticism of a wide receiver. Fantastic pass blocker, strong and soft hands. When I watched a little bit of film on him, I think the only issue is they didn't utilize their tight end, but he is dangerous in the red zone. What do you have for him, Steve?
I didn't care for him, honestly. Yes, he has good size, right? His 40 time's stupid, which is funny because
He's the biggest guy and he's a small.
Yeah,
he's
Quickest
big,
40.
but his initial burst off the line is dog shit.
he doesn't have
So
the
it's-
speed off the line.
And
No.
we'll see that. That might change come
Combine.
combine.
Yeah, he's gonna have to drop, some weight. But
No, he might have to just drop his hips because a lot of guys have a hard time dropping their hips coming off the line, especially tight ends.
he, I had a
That's how
couple.
you get a burst.
I had a couple. Yeah, well, I had a couple cons. He doesn't finish plays, His initial burst off the line's bad, and he can't separate. No.
He does not have vertical threat at all.
I don't think a lot of these guys can separate. To be honest, I think
Mayer and Kincaid 100% can. Actually, there's other guys.
Mayer cannot separate.
Yeah, that's not true.
If you look at Mayer's film, he's very good at catching around corners and safeties and
he finds the hole. He can
finds where the ball's at. I disagree. When you're playing in a zone defense, that's not separating. That's finding the hole. That's good offensive intellect.
Football IQ.
Yeah. I agree.
And Michael Mayer's up there because he has a habit of finding the hole.
Yeah.
That's why Gronk was so good. That's why a lot of tight ends are good because they find the hole.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't see that with Washington, right? His blocking's good. It's not great. He uses size to overpower. I guess I have those as a pro, but I mean, it is what it is. Good, not great hands. He has ability for big play catches, but his routes take time. So that's my negative. I didn't have him up there, but
Wheels
on him or somebody else.
Washington at 3.
He's got a huge frame.
Yeah,
he's big, but again, I think he's got to drop some weight because he does not have a vertical threat.
So you think he's got to drop weight, but Michael Mayer doesn't? They're only 5 pounds different.
I was just gonna say, and it's a 0.05.
Yeah, but Mike Mayer plays well to his
size.
Yep. Whereas
they're both the same.
Darnell Washington doesn't.
He's 6'4", Washington,
and he's not
6'7".
a reliable. I mean, he's a good blocker, but my biggest gripe with him is he didn't play a lot at Georgia. He did not play a lot,
and that's what I said.
And they didn't use him a lot.
His utilization wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even. My number 3 is Luke Musgrave from Oregon State.
I have Musgrave as 4.
I have Sam Laporta as my 3. Musgrave's my 4.
I like Sam Laporta a lot.
Laporta's gonna be. It's funny. I have Laporta 5. I love Laporta.
My 5 is
I love Laporta. But so the reason why Darnell Washington, I guess, is where he is because I would say size. Just because he's better in the block than he is in the pass game. Luke Musgrave, he's my number 4. 6'6", 255, 451. That's Laporta, isn't that? Oh no, that's Luke Musgrave. I'm sorry.
Look at the beaver.
How fast that 40?
I know.
Look at that 40 time. 4.5. You know what tier that is? 96 percentile for 40s for tight ends.
Yeah, he is not a blocking tight end. That dude is a straight offensive beast.
Blocking is not a strength.
No, that's what I said.
He excels.
Not a great blocker. Inexperienced.
He excels in the run block. He's really good in run block.
So my biggest gripe on him is he has trouble tracking the ball.
It's funny because I put excels in the block. I meant to put excels in the run block.
There you go.
Very crisp route runner with soft hands. He's a wide receiver 4.
Yeah.
It's another guy that's, to me, is just a guy that couldn't make it as a wide receiver and became a tight end.
Because of his size, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm assuming...
6'6", 255, 3-star. He's a big boy.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's also super quick.
Yeah, he's fast.
I think he's the one guy in the top 5 or below Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid, which is a vert threat.
This will be funny. So we'll come back to this. But number 5, Sam Laporta. I think it's funny how all of us are high on this guy.
I like him.
None of us talk about this prior to the show. So Sam Laporta, 6'4", 249, small for a tight end. 4'6", 640, 32 3/8, arm length, arm span 77 inches, hands 10 inches. Player summary: 3-star recruit coming out of high school, high football IQ, reliable hands, good route runner, great after the catch, and a strong frame.
He's got a huge catch radius.
Yeah,
he does not miss a lot, right? And he's got glue. Like he's got stucco on his hands.
Give me a comparison for him.
Same school, George Kittle. I mean, Kittle catches a lot.
This is considered tight end U, right?
I mean, I'm not saying that just because it was the same school, but he reminds me of it. I mean, George Kittle, when healthy, his catch radius is huge. He doesn't miss a lot.
Damn.
That is, it's funny. A lot of people don't think he's as good as Kittle.
I think, so you know what's funny? You say Kittle, right?
Yeah.
What's funny is you don't realize how often Kittle plays in line. He lines up, he puts his hand in the dirt. And he does.
He does a lot.
This dude does that a lot. He doesn't split out too much.
I never noticed that.
Well, that's because of the school.
I didn't notice that with George Kittle.
Just enjoy watching him.
Yeah.
And
he's likable, man. And I don't know why.
Watching this dude, watching his tape, he's a 22-year-old senior. That's good.
He's young still.
He is. His 40's good. He's got good separation. He's got good hands.
To me, Dallas got
Ooh.
That's a good comp too. Yes.
I think he's a Dallas guy. I don't think he's as aggressive
Zach Ertz,
as Kittle.
maybe.
Ooh.
Travis Kelce.
I hate Zach Ertz is a little more of a block
Okay.
guy. And a guy I
That's,
think
yeah,
he's bigger
that's
than
a
the
good
block.
point. Yeah, he's not the best blocker, but again, you can coach that up.
I like him. I like
can.
Laporta moving forward.
So Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid. I think all three of us might have these guys as first round guys,
Yes.
depending on what tight end needs are out there. But we would say these are first round
Yeah.
guys. You have them as top 10, both of them.
I think they're talent-wise, they're top 10.
Darnell Washington, I have early second. What do you guys have him at?
I think
Mid-second.
he is a... No, you don't want to know mine. I didn't like him.
What do you have him at?
5th round pick.
He might drop. I mean, but there's a lot of tight ends.
Laporta's another guy who's going to be mid-second.
Laporta's the second.
Laporta's a second in my mind. Luke Musgrave, late second, early third. I have Luke Musgrave at.
Hold on. I'm just finding my guys. I'm sorry.
I
I have a second round pick.
Mayer and Kincaid are the only first-round picks.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would agree. Let me give a couple other mentions, see if any of these guys stand out for you. One of them does, but he's out of my top 10. Number 6, and Brenton Strange.
Nope. Never heard of her.
Never heard of him. I don't have him on there.
I was gonna say.
Number 7, Jaleel Billingsley.
Nope.
No, I looked for tape on him, and there really isn't any. I don't need.
He's another wide receiver. 217 pounds as a tight end is freaking light.
That's actually, that might be too.
He's
I do have him. He's my number 9. Sorry.
He's a wide receiver. A Payne Durham. I don't know why I emphasized it that way.
Durham.
Out of Purdue, 258 pounds, 6'5", 4'7", 840. Large target, plays bigger than he is. Also shows in the blocking game, taking on a large athletes in the block.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything on him. Did you like him? Like, talk about him a little bit. What is?
Well, so
Is he similar to anybody else we've talked about?
No, but I think this is one of those guys that this is a project in my mind. Like he goes to a team, can go behind like a Kelsey or goes behind even like a Zach Ertz. Like
Okay.
He's
they
got
got
that
him for
veteran
another
to
year.
coach him. He can turn into something
He could
special.
turn into a good player.
Yeah.
That's where I think he kind of is. Josh Weil is another one that
I like him
everybody
on
is
the
hyped
same
on.
I like him a lot
Josh
out of
Weil. He's
Cincy.
my 8.
Yeah, everybody's
too.
hyped on. I have him at 9. Everybody's hyped on this guy. You see him? He's definitely there.
He's goofy
6'6",
looking.
260
last
pounds, 4'6", he doesn't
He's
look
quick.
like he's 260. Yeah, I mean, he's an average size. He's literally probably prototypical size for a tight end. Exceptional in the seam as a runner. Strong hands, frame, great ball skills, and contested catch monster. He is very good at the,
You know
the
who
high
else
point of attack.
went to Cincinnati? And is one of the greatest tight ends ever. I'm not comparing. It's Travis Kelce.
I was gonna say, yeah, I know it was
No,
Kelsey, but I'm
yeah.
like, oh god, don't do it.
Would you guys have Tucker Kraft
I do.
out of South Dakota State?
I
I
by
do
any way?
have
I have Tucker Kraft, and I have
Kraft.
He's
Zach
my
Kuntz.
number 7.
I have Zach Kuntz too. You got Zach?
I do
got
not. I
Zach Kuntz,
have
too.
I have-
Tucker Kraft, large catch radius, strong.
Kraft's my 5.
Strong for his size, soft hands, yet uncomfortable at times with the ball control because he does have a habit of transitioning, and it's very sketchy.
He's got a small sample size.
Average size for position. So that's another guy that's
What about
average.
the kid out of Michigan, Luke Schoonmaker?
Schoonmaker?
Luke
I didn't
Schoonmaker?
like him much. He's my 10.
6'6",
And that's only 'cause I only
249,
watched
but he
11.
4'8 second, 4'8", 40. Great catching the ball in traffic, shows toughness after the hit, soft, reliable hands, excellent route runner. So another guy. Most of these guys that are out of my top 5 just can't block.
So, do you have any dark horse that a lot of people aren't talking about? Because I have Thomas Greeny out of Albany.
I don't have a graphic for Greeny.
Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion.
Raccoons out of Dominion.
To be
I saw some tape on him. I
Pull up
watched.
Zach Kuntz. Zach Kuntz,
My
6'8", 251 pounds, 4'5'7", 40. He's huge. This guy's huge for a tight end. Phenom in the pass game. Looked at as a third.
42.
Yeah, well, he's looked at as a third wide receiver, not a fourth. He's looked at as a third wide receiver. Needs improvement in the block. Great route running abilities. The problem is the corners he played against and the linebackers he played against. I don't know how
The
good he
small
is.
school,
I don't know how good he is at the line. You watch some film on him. How good is he off the line?
So I picked games that were against teams that would be considered anything, because this is all I could find was Virginia and Virginia Tech, both from this last year. I have him as a second round talent. I really liked him. I think he's going to go in the 5th round, though. I think he's going to go later. Oh shit, what happened?
Well, it's a sleeper pick then. If he's going to go later if he's going to go in the 5th and you have him as a second round talent, that's a huge sleeper pick.
Yeah, he's going to be a sleeper guy. His intangibles are disgusting. He's high echelon, all of them. He has good separation off the line. He's got a good swim to get past defenders. He's got a good burst out of his stance, good separation, great hands. He was their go-to guy on third down, so they trusted him. He is trustworthy. I liked his blocking. I saw time and again he turned his man to give an edge for his running back, so he set that edge and he opened that hole, if you will. My only con for him was the small school, the Old Dominion.
And that's the hardest thing to go against is because you just don't know the talent they've played against.
Well, that's why I picked Virginia.
Like the
and
guy said, Mark.
Those were his two biggest schools that he played. That was my thing.
So Jimmy said Brock Bowers. I don't think Brock Bowers is coming out of the draft.
He's not. He's coming out next year.
He recommit, not to recommit. He didn't declare.
Correct. So he didn't declare before he needed to. So that's one of the guys. I get why.
Which I understand because of the guys that are coming out. There's some guys in the middle where he would have been drafted.
Next year is the wide receiver tight end draft.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of good tight ends in this draft that are more sleepers because I think a lot of these guys,
Laporta.
For some odd reason,
Laporta's going to be a sleeper.
The tight end position has completely. It's not a sleeper. I think most people have him.
I just don't think
10. He's going to be drafted in the third or fourth round.
Yeah, people just aren't talking about him like Kincaid and Musgrave and
another guy that you guys don't have in there. I like is Mason Fairchild. Like
I
didn't watch him at all.
I did not.
Now we're telling me about him.
Mason Fairchild, 6'3", 246. He's short for a tight end.
That's Brenton Strange.
But he.
Button says otherwise.
Oh, that's funny. Mason Fairchild should be there. Let me pull up his stats real quick, just so I can have.
And you have that labeled in that folder too.
Way to go, KJ.
Amateur.
Mm.
I'll just pull it up really quick. Sorry.
All right, so, okay, so I mean,
because he's ranked as 21 by many people, but so he's 6'5", 261 pounds. The dude is kind of a monster. He's a 3-star recruit going into college. Fluid mover, lanky, long, coordinated with soft, reliable hands, shows the ability to adjust to the ball thrown behind him. That's actually one of the reasons why I was looking at it, because he had a habit of, he doesn't play with the best quarterback, right? So.
At Kansas?
Yeah. So that's one of the situations.
Not a basketball school. Not a football school.
To where, like, he showed the ability to produce as a tight end in Kansas and still not have a good
with minimum talent around him.
Right. So I think he's kind of a sleeper. This guy might even go undrafted. But I say 6th-round guy that could produce day one.
Okay.
Do I think he will? No. Depends on the school you're going to.
Real quick, with the guys that we have in our top 3, what fitment do you have team-wise?
John, can you bring up
let's do a
quick breakdown, right? I'll do a quick breakdown. So number 1,
thank you.
I have, and most consensus has, Michael Mayer. Number 2, Dalton Kincaid. Number 3, we probably all would agree, Luke Musgrave. Number 4,
I have Laporta 3.
Sam Laporta. Number 5, Darnell Washington.
No.
And I think that right. You guys don't like Washington.
I didn't like him at all.
I actually would probably put Schoonmaker way up there, but that's just because people don't.
Schoonmaker's 6 for me.
It's 10 for me.
Yeah. So I think those 5. Only 2 are going to go. Even have the possibility of going in the first round.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
That's it.
If anybody else goes in the first round, it's a reach.
I would say so. In my opinion.
So when I look at these guys, I currently have Musgrave as a 2nd to 3rd round guy, just because it's late in the draft.
Yep.
I don't think you're going to need anybody else. I have Sam Laporta. If you get him in the 2nd, I'm okay with it.
I have the Raiders taking Laporta in the 2nd.
Ooh.
What I'm trying to think what draft pick that is. That's
I don't know off the top of my head.
Can you pull up the draft?
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just because with their issue with what's his name at tight end, Darren Waller.
Yep.
Johnny, can you pull up the draft?
It's sunshine.
39.
So you're at 39.
Ooh.
Oh, that's where you were going. I got
Okay.
you. I would have just done the plus 30.
I mean, do you think that's reaching for Sam Laporta?
I think 71 is probably where you would go.
Okay.
I don't think he'll be there at 71.
Which is the beginning of the 3rd. Yeah, I think you'd be surprised. I also, another guy we didn't talk about was Cameron Latu, right?
Oh, he's dog
out of
shit.
Alabama.
Dog shit.
Well,
he's 11.
He's
for
not
me.
utilized.
They
He's
don't.
not utilized.
That, but
They
what
did
is
not-
that?
that's
but
true. They
that's
didn't
telling. Why don't they use him?
Exactly.
4-star recruit, soft, strong hands, hard to take down, great at finding the ball at his high point, large frame, makes him hard to tackle.
Here, these are my cons for this dude. Gets beat by a bull rush, easily beat. Bad in space for screen blocking.
I didn't say he was good in the block.
Struggles getting separation. If he doesn't have to, he doesn't give much effort. Legitimately shocked to see this type of game from a Bama player. That's in my notes.
That's
Dude
huge.
is
I mean, that's
not
huge.
good.
That's
Don't
huge.
like him at all. I don't know how he's on the team.
Wow. I mean, that's huge. If that's really what you got out of that, I mean, that's huge. The other guy, you said Zach Kuntz. Did we talk about him?
No, we didn't, but I want to.
Zach Kuntz. Can you pull him up, Johnny?
Oh no, I like.
No,
we did talk about
it. Long show.
All right. So I mean, I think that's kind of
I like him.
I think it kind of that's kind of our consensus on tight ends for those 5. This is a draft where this isn't going to be a need. Is tackles and tight ends, but it's going to be a hole filler.
It's a depth.
Yes.
It's a depth filler, yeah.
Now, not saying the teams don't need him. I'm just saying that the ability and the team needs don't match up where they're supposed to.
Other than the 2 we talked about, Kincaid and Mayer.
And the same thing kind of goes. There's like top 5. There's 5 tackles that might be taken in the first 2 rounds, but outside of that, it just kind of floats from there.
I mean, we didn't even talk about Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, we did. We talked a little bit
South
about
Dakota
him.
State.
Yeah, we talked about him.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 7th. for me.
Majestic mane.
I like him. I like him.
I liked him a lot.
But we had the average size for
I have
his
him as
position.
a gem in the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably a 5th round guy. 5th, 6th round. It could be undrafted. I just know the last 3 years, the average tight ends taken in a draft is 13.
Yeah.
We talked about 5. I could go into Marshawn Ford, Thomas Greeny, Blake Whitehart, Braden Willis,
Thomas
Ben
Green, yeah, like
Sims,
he's my 10.
We didn't
Noah
even,
Gindorf, Kenmore Gamble, Kyle Patterson, Daniel Barker, Davis Allen.
we talk about Will Mallory out of you.
But I mean, a lot of these guys. How many of these
We did
guys
not.
late?
Will Mallory is actually what I copied all my graphics of, but he should have a Will Mallory one. Will Mallory. I knew you were going to say that just because of your alma mater.
I liked him.
Has
for the
the
most
burst
part.
off the line down the field, making him a wide receiver prospect over a tight end.
I think
Solid
he's-
blocker in the run game, ability to have big plays.
Late 4th, early 5th, 5th round
So
guy.
a lot of these guys seem
mean,
to be wide receivers.
yes.
We think.
A lot of them, so like my 3 to
A lot of them are
7
wide receiver
similar.
4s.
But the problem now is in the NFL, you need. It seems like you want a guy that's good in both. You want a good passer,
you
want a
need a
good.
guy that
You
can
want a
block.
good.
I think-
guy
Depends on the
offensively.
offense they go to, like a Gesicki.
Well, I think
Yeah.
to
That's a
excel
good
or
comp
be a
with
standout, you have to be a wide receiver that can block,
That's
not
what
a
I'm saying.
blocker that can catch.
Yeah.
And the funny part is the greatest.
That's my Kincaid cop.
The greatest are blockers that can catch, not the other way around. It's like when you look at a Kelsey, he can block, but he excels in the
Excels in the
catching
catch.
game.
Yeah. He's good enough to stay on the field to block.
Gronkowski can block, but he excels in the passing game. Kittle can block, but excels in the passing game. These aren't receivers.
No.
These are guys that can block but have phenomenal hands
Yep.
and
And
are
that's.
great in the
I mean,
passing
that's
game.
what some of these guys have, and the others don't.
And every single tight end that excels is phenomenal in traffic. And that's where I
Contested
think it
catch,
comes
yeah.
down to is, are these guys good? No, across the middle. Just across the middle in general.
Yeah.
Can they take a hit
Like
without
Laporta,
dropping the
Laporta is
ball?
going to take a hit. I mean, he played Big Ten. He took some hits.
That's why I
Yeah,
love
he did.
Laporta.
I
Because
like him a lot.
That's why he's my 3.
Laporta to me, and I don't know if it's a color thing with like the team, but Keith Miller. Like I love Laporta as a Heath
Bless you.
Miller kind of guy because he's consistent against every attack.
Heath
He
Miller.
was Heath Miller.
Heath Miller.
I thought you
Oh,
said
from
Keith,
the
and you threw me
Steelers?
off. I
Yeah,
was like, who the
okay,
frick?
Heath Miller
I thought you
is
said
kind
Keith,
of what he
yeah.
reminds me of. He's not as big as Heath Miller, but he plays as big as Heath Miller.
Yeah, he does. He
And when I
does.
was watching him, it's like I keyed in, I was like Keith Miller. But I don't know if that's because of the color of the jersey or because take him out of the jersey. Do I think the same thing?
I mean,
you know
it's
what I
probably
mean?
the
Like,
same thing with
okay.
the comp for Kittle. I mean, but like you said, Dalton Schultz. I know Dallas Goedert's probably a better comp for him.
I like Dallas Goedert just because when I was watching him play, that's kind of what I felt like was a Dallas Goedert. I think that's it for this show. Do you guys have anything else that you want to talk about today? Anything that's off the head? Like we said, we're talking about offensive tackles.
So go through the breakdown again for the top 5.
So our top 5 for tight ends, we have Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid, Luke Musgrave. You guys didn't have this one. Darnell
Sam.
Washington.
I do not have him.
Sam Laporta was our 4. And then Darnell Washington was my 5. I think all 3 of us kind of agree if we had to put a guy at round 6 to 5. Josh Weil is one of those guys that we could probably reach on.
I think so.
him.
Like Tucker Kraft, Zach Kuntz, Will Mallory, and Josh Weil.
It's just so
They're
hard.
all the same guy. So like in my opinion, my
Okay, I
5 to
see that.
9 or my 5 to 8, they're all interchangeable. Now, if I had to pick, I don't know why I did this, but looking at it now, Josh Weil's my dude.
That's why. That's why I'm saying if we all would
So-
have had to pick that fringe guy,
Yeah.
Josh Weil is probably the guy that makes it in our top five
and
at 5.
It's because of the
6.
contested catch.
Correct. And then that's kind of where I would leave it. That the reason I don't have Kuntz up there is because school. Like it's just if you're not playing anybody.
I mean,
right?
like that's the same with Tucker Kraft too,
correct.
right? They both
and
come
that's
from
why
small
Tucker Kraft's
schools,
at
but-
15 for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I loved him.
Because
I
of
love that
school.
tape.
So, yeah, but it's really easy to look as a good wide receiver against okay guys.
Sure.
Because if you like, it's
I mean,
hard.
you know,
it's hard because
Randy Moss went to Marshall. I don't know. I'm saying.
I'm not even gonna go over that because I don't know enough about Randy Moss's college career
No, I don't.
to go, hey, he was a standout or hey, he wasn't a standout and he
Just saying.
excelled in the pros.
Just saying.
So,
One of the
Is
great-
it-